if this was America, everyone would be like, oh man, that was such a bad girl. You'll find a better girl next. That's the reaction in America. The reaction in Japan was surprisingly different. The more I would say something bad about her, the more other people would defend her.
That happened.
And say, yeah, but you picked her. She's your choice.
Yeah.
Hey everybody, welcome back to Small Talk Japan. On this podcast, we talk about all things Japan in English. My name is Michi, and these are my co-hosts.
Natsuki.
Hello.
Guys, so I was surfing around on the internet, and I saw a really interesting picture, okay? And I want to talk about it. So this picture, right now, middle of Corona, okay? So basically going to the office is almost dangerous in the bigger cities, right?
Yeah, a lot of remote.
A lot of remote work, right?
Yeah,
working from home.
Yeah.
But even then, right? Are so many Japanese companies really that remote at this point?
It seems like it.
Some
Seems
companies,
like
yes. Yeah.
Depends on the company, right?
Yeah.
So there's this wonderful picture that was tweeted, and it's got these two towers that are in Tokyo, okay? And on one side you've got Cyber Agent and Mixi, and on the other side you've got Google. And one of these buildings at 6 p.m., I think on a Friday, maybe, it's no one's in the Google building. Everybody's gone home. Or even they weren't even there to begin with. But in the Japanese building, where there's Japanese companies in there, it's still brightly lit and everybody's still there.
When
at 6
was it
p.m.
taken?
This was taken 1 week ago.
Okay.
Wow. That really shows like
Wow.
Japan and Western countries.
Yeah,
It's
wow.
like an example of it.
And the person who took it, you find a good point.
Yeah. Because it's not the person who took this photo. We'll put it in the comment description of the podcast. But the person doesn't just talk about, oh look, one building is lit up, one company's dark. They even go into talk about this one's a Western company. These are Japanese companies, and that's why.
Yeah.
Interesting.
It seems like the remote thing, it's up and running, but like it still comes down to the traditional way of thinking of like
maybe people are getting used to Corona things and then start going back to the office.
But why would one be dark and the other one be light?
I know. Maybe
Dedication.
it's Friday. Maybe it's Friday.
You know what? So what this particular person who posted this picture, and then other news outlets that picked this picture up, like Slow News 24, for example, they talk about what's probably happening in here is even if there were people in the Google building, they've left for the day. They're finished with their job. Whereas in the Japanese companies, they're still there working overtime. Okay. Now, I want to talk about a concept that's a really deep concept, and it's going to get into a lot. We're going to talk about a lot of different subjects with this one concept. But I want to get into this concept of wa.
Harmony?
Wa. Harmony.
Circle?
Harmony. Now, in Japan, harmony is incredibly important, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's not something that we try to do. It's already like in us.
DNA.
It's something that's already within us. We don't really think about it, but it's there, It's like a invisible, not a law, but it's like
An unspoken rule.
unspoken rule,
Unspoken
kind of,
Harmony.
Yeah.
I mean, so as someone who didn't grow up in this country, when I first came here, I could easily tell you that in the first year or so, I was not in with the wa. Like I'm more like a break eggs and like say what I want to say, like kind of type of person.
Well, like at your workplace or
In my life, if like, here's my thing: if your zipper is down, I'll tell you, hey, your zipper is down.
Yeah.
I don't worry about making waves. But in Japan, it's very much so about, not making waves. Like, you want to be still.
Yeah.
You want to preserve the harmony.
yeah. I think the zipper thing is a little extreme, but
Yeah.
Okay. It is maybe a little extreme, but
maybe like something stuck in their teeth. Maybe people won't say about it.
Aren't there any other word 和じゃなくて他にない？和って言われたらちょっと意味わかんないんだよね。Like 空気 air or
yeah, but
I have no
if you
idea.
kuki o yomukoto is like reading the situation, reading the air.
Yeah.
But when you read it, why are you reading it?
Yeah.
Because you want to keep the harmony.
keep the harmony,
Yes, to keep the peace,
peace,
calm.
calm.
Yeah. It's everywhere, I
和を
think.
保つみたいなね。
Yeah.
Yeah, keep harmony.
So in that situation, that Google and the other company situation, it clearly shows like, oh yes, the wa in the workplace or, individual, how they think about work. So that kind of shows like,
Well, let's talk about it. So in the Japanese tower that's brightly lit at 6 p.m., I think on a Friday, why would harmony be the reason why people don't go home? First of all, okay, so you both have worked in Japanese companies.
Yeah.
If you're a new employee, how do you get the signal that it's okay to go home? What sign do you look for before you go home?
I look around and see what everybody's doing.
Right. What's everybody else doing?
Yeah, because I don't want to be the first one to leave the office, especially if I'm the new.
yeah.
Okay.
And then, you look at your superior, basically, a boss or whatever.
Yeah.
And then when they leave, it's, oh, I can leave now.
Or I'll probably ask, when can I go home? Or things like that.
Yeah, I think most Japanese people would wait for their boss to go home, and then they go home.
Yeah.
And then you're like, okay, now you look at your superiors, your senpai, are they going home? And if they go home, then, okay, it's time for me to go home.
Yeah.
Which,
Or I'll wait somebody to tell me that you can go home now.
oh, okay. In the West, that's a ridiculous thing to think about. We go home when either our shift is done or our work is done. Like, I don't care if the boss is there longer than me or shorter than me. That doesn't matter. That's not my problem. Like, I go home when I'm done.
Yeah.
Even in the first day?
Yeah, like if it's my shift is done, I'd be like, hey, all right, is there anything else for me to do? No? All right, I'm gonna go home. See you guys. See you tomorrow.
Yeah. Even like, okay, leaving and then going to work, I have to get to work. I remember we had the super big typhoon in, was it September? And then some people were like, oh, I'm sorry, I have to book a hotel near a workplace because when typhoon comes, he can't go to work from his house. So he booked the hotel near his workplace so that he can get to work in a situation where it's like super, like one of the biggest typhoon ever. And then he still had to get to work. Like, it's just like, that's the mindset. I have to be there. There's no excuse. So
Now let's take that one level deeper. Why is that person so worried about missing work?
Because he doesn't want his boss to scold.
Well, that's one thing. That's anywhere in the world. But there's a deeper level in Japan. It's about what? You don't want to put that hardship on the people around you.
Yeah, that's happened too. Yeah. Because of me, I don't want everybody other me. I mean, around me.
Yeah, you don't want to cause problems for other people.
I don't want to cause problem.
Getting back to that,
harmony.
keeping the harmony, right?
Yeah, because I work with everybody. I don't want to be the one who messed up.
Right.
yeah, and also to show that you are dedicated to the company.
Yeah, dedicated to the company.
That's important too, but I think that the impossibility, like the muriyari effect, they have to be at work. I think they don't want to have trouble the people around them. Okay, so let's talk about a little bit more at the workplace, okay? This goes into another level of almost sexism at some points, okay? In a typical office, not so you can answer this one, in a typical office, the boss is almost always a man.
Yeah.
And when the customers come in for a meeting and they sit down, who makes the
Tea?
green tea?
Of course, women.
Women.
Yeah.
It's their job.
It's their job.
And the thing is, it's so hard for you to get them to stop doing that. Even if you ask them, hey, girls, you don't have to do that. We got this new assistant, this boy, he'll do it. They're like, no, this is my role.
Yeah. Understandable.
Like they all feel like they all naturally know what their roles are and they just do it. And if they're not doing their role, it feels uncomfortable. Like they're not doing their part.
Yeah, I guess so.
Does that still happen?
Yeah, I guess it still happen.
Josh, can we talk about your girlfriend? Is it cool?
Sure, yeah.
Okay, your girlfriend, we don't have to know where she works, but your girlfriend works for a company.
Yes.
And when people come in to her office, who makes the tea?
Well, I'm not sure about that side of it, but I do know that in her company, she does something called ocha toban, where basically all of the women in the company take turns, like preparing the office and making tea for everybody and getting the newspaper for the boss and stuff like that. And it's only the woman in the company. Like, even though they've had men join the company after her, because she's been working
Junior
there.
members that are male.
She has male junior members. They don't have to do that. It's only the woman.
Understandable.
No. Why is that?
It's women's job. It doesn't make sense.
I mean, I understand what you're saying. I don't
Yeah.
agree with it, but
Like it's a history thing, I guess. You know, women are supposed to do the kitchen stuffs. Yeah, like, you know, making tea. And then my former boss said, you know, making tea is, you know, women making tea better than men.
do you believe him?
Wow.
And then I guess I said, oh, really? Thank you. Or something like that. Yeah.
So you can do more of it. Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I think, though, there's a lot of traditional bosses out there. Their image of the person who makes the tea is a young girl.
Yeah.
And so to disrupt that, to change that, would make waves. So now you're causing problems in the WA.
Yeah. So I have to follow the rule.
And then you follow the rules and there's no waves and then you keep the harmony.
Yeah. I don't want to be the first one to break the rule.
See, and that's the other thing. Hayato said this like 2 podcasts ago. If there's a red light,
みんなでは okay.
if you do it by yourself, it's like, oh, that's weird. That's he's doing the weird thing. He broke the group. But if everybody goes across at the red light at the same time, it's okay.
Yeah.
not
Let's do
scary.
it. Yeah, let's do it with everybody.
Yeah.
How important is it in Japan to do the same thing that everybody else is doing?
Well, I mean, this is it's everywhere. It starts from the education, from when you're young age. It starts everybody doing the same. You know, you can clearly tell if you attend a Japanese school, you know this, but you don't think about it because you don't know. But when you look back, it's like, wow, that was pretty weird.
Yeah.
That's really weird. What were we doing?
Yeah, like lining up together, you know, everybody's doing the same, wearing the same. Well, uniform is like whatever, you know, but everyone's has to be on the same level, right? It's like flat line.
Flat line.
Oh, you know what's one of the weird thing? I just want to mention it. Randoseru. Do you know the randoseru?
The backpack?
What? It's like what?
Japanese backpack.
Can you not
Choose.
choose to wear that? Like,
So
can I do that? Like,
yeah, no, you can't. So randoseru is like it's a hard leather backpack that looks like it's from somewhere in Europe. I don't know where it came in from the country, but it
It's a Japanese thing, I guess.
Yeah, but randoseru is like
sounds like
French or Spanish or
yeah,
something.
or like okay.
Anyway, so all the kids have to have the same design.
Yeah.
And I mean, there's like 3 colors you can choose from. It's like pink, black, and brown, or blue.
Before it was 2 colors.
Yeah, only black or red, and then it's changing. And like kids can choose their own favorite color now.
But even then, like we're talking within the box.
Yeah.
Like they can customize a couple options.
Just change colors and design.
Is
That's
it France?
It says that it's likely based off of a German World War One and World War II bag that they used like in the war.
Sounds about
that's
right.
a German thing.
Sounds about right.
Okay.
But like everything, let's say if there are like bullying and all the stuff that's happening, it's based on, I don't know if it's based on the WA thing, but it's just everybody on the same level. Let's all be the same, same group. So I think everything pretty much based on.
Yeah, what he's saying here, I think, is very important. Like sometimes when children there's a child who's a little different, who maybe thinks or talks or walks or acts differently. He or she will be bullied by the other kids because they're like, they want him to conform and be the same.
Yeah.
And they've kind of learned this ideology from their parents. And so, I mean, the children obviously are not thinking about WA when they're doing this, but they just have this feeling that they want to make that different child the same.
Yeah, it's just I think it's an instinct that they must follow. They're always the leader, and if you kind of go against that leader, it'll come to you. So you obey that leader, basically. So it's just it's, I don't know if it's based on the whole harmony thing, but it's just that happens.
Yeah.
And maybe it's everywhere. I don't know. Maybe it happens in America or.
Let me ask this question, guys. If let's say that you get invited somewhere, right? Like you're going to like, hey, let's go out for drinks next Friday. And you don't want to go. Do you tell the person, like, I would prefer not to drink with you because I don't like you?
No.
What do you say in Japan? Like, how do you get around that?
I mean, how to refuse the thing?
Do you refuse by directly refusing and saying, no, I don't want to go?
No, of course not. I would say like, I'd like to go, but I don't know if I can go. Let me check the schedule or things like that.
Yeah.
What would you say?
My dog is dying. Sorry, I have to stay home.
Yeah, man.
Or corona. I'm
Yeah.
sorry, I'm scared.
Okay.
There's a lot of cases in Japanese culture where people will agree to do something. Tatemae they'll agree to do it. They'll agree to go to your event or whatever, but they have no intention of going. And so from Westerners, when we look at that, it looks like they're lying. Like, why do you agree to go to this and you're not going, right? But it's because in front of you, they don't want to cause conflict. So when especially if you're super excited about something, like, oh my God, let's do it. And they're like, oh yeah, that's going to be super fun. But they know that they're not going, right? So sometimes a yes is not necessarily a yes in Japan. Like, they have to really mean yes. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it makes sense. Especially, with people who are not really close to.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's everywhere. It's education. It's their workplace. How about like family? So like in family, you have, let's say you fight or something.
Yeah, how do you do? Okay, so I don't have a Japanese family. So let me ask you guys this. Traditionally,
Yeah.
if there's a fight, I mean, like Americans, we'll throw things at each other and yell and scream at each other, But in Japan, I mean, like how typical Japanese families.
Okay.
How do fights work?
They close their mouth because they don't want to cause a big fight. We call it reisen. How do you say that in English?
Cold War.
Cold War. War.
Like maybe that causes the things like revenge bento.
That we were talking about a couple
yeah.
episodes
A
ago.
couple episodes ago. I mean, that could be because they don't really say it. They kind of like project it in some other way, like indirectly.
Yeah, we don't hurt each other indirectly. That's how. Yeah.
You don't hurt each other directly.
Directly.
Indirectly.
Directly.
Yeah, I never really see Japanese people say like really rude things directly.
Yeah, like my husband, he's a typical Japanese, I guess. He doesn't do things directly. Like he doesn't. He like if I ask him something and he wants to say no, but he doesn't say no. He says like round way.
Tomari. He says in
Tomari,
a roundabout way.
Yeah. So the other day I was asking him to take care of my baby because I want to go.
You're not my baby, our baby.
Yeah, our baby.
He's not part of it.
Our baby.
Did something happen that I'm not sure about here? Sorry.
And then he said, "Yeah, I can, but I can't. If I can take care of our baby that day, but if I did do that, blah blah blah. You know what I mean? He won't say no.
He doesn't say no, but he tries to make you feel bad.
So
You stop asking him.
Right. Right. And then I got pissed off and then why don't you say no directly? If you can do that, you can say no.
Because Natsuki, that's not very Japanese, right?
Because we are, marriage couple.
Yeah.
We can say
you want that, but he's still Tomari.
Yeah.
Beating around the bush.
Yeah. Beating around the bush. That's a good word.
Isn't it so bad when you go to a store and you ask the clerk, you're like, "Hi, do you have this item?" And all he has to say is, "No, we don't have that item." And then he doesn't waste my time. I get the information I need. I leave.
Yeah.
He'll be like, "Oh, let's walk all the way over to this shelf where he knows it's not there." We walk over there and he'll look at the shit on the shelf and he'll be like,
"Yeah, that sound my husband make."
I'm looking at him like, "Do you fucking have this thing or not?"
You have to explain about this sound. Yeah. Yeah, people probably do understand what that means.
Yeah, it's so weird, man.
Yeah.
It's like I'm thinking
Yeah, second
really
thinking.
hard.
But they're not really
sound.
thinking, they're just pretending. They're waiting for you to understand what they're saying with their
Yeah.
actions.
Yeah.
Please understand me without words.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Even the language itself, it's very harmonized. We don't intend to like hurt other people, right? We use like different sort of like language towards different people to kind of show respect, polite words, respect the elders. Also, we say suimasen, which is like I'm sorry a lot in Japan, whereas I think in a Western country they say thank you.
Yeah.
Whereas like suimasen, which is like we're coming from below, whereas they're like not from above, but just saying thank you. So there's also the language, and then also I think in Wa, we also say the silence is another part of the language itself. To not speak about things.
Yeah. Silent has a lot of meanings.
Yeah. So there's a lot of things.
Yeah, you have to catch what that means.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, when you live here for a long time, you start to figure it out. You start to decode what's going on. But when you first start, a lot of there's no directness in Japan. And so it's just a lot of times you don't know what people are trying to communicate to you.
Okay.
Because they're not telling you directly. And if you're especially a foreign person and the language is new to you, it's just like you think they mean A when really they mean B. And then they think, God, this guy's stupid. Why doesn't he get it? And then you're thinking, why don't they explain it to me?
Yeah, I'm so good at explaining the difference, to Mitch.
Yeah, there'll be it's not that I need the explanation. It's just like I get pissed off, and then Natsuki will be like, "Yes, but let's think about it from their perspective." I'm like, "I don't care."
Yeah, let's think about their perspective.
Like,
yeah.
I don't care.
Yeah, thinking about other people too, huh? Like, yeah.
Yeah, harmony.
Yeah.
Because we don't want to be the first one to, do things. Do you understand what I mean?
Yeah. What do you say in Japanese? The nail that sticks out gets the hammer.
出る杭は打たれる.
Yeah. But the thing is once everybody does it, it's then normal and then harmony again.
Yeah.
It's just that transition time that's not harmonious.
Yeah. It's really strange. Like going back to the family thing, it's kind of like a family thing, but when you get married or when you have a baby, people will celebrate. They give you a gift, right? But you have to give that gift. You have to buy another gift back.
Yeah.
Which is like, I know. I don't know if
Half
that's
budget ね。うん。
you know like
Half budget. It's got so
it's
specific.
just really retarded, man. You know, like
Yeah, because like you're like you get a present,
Yeah.
and a lot of times it's actually cash when you have a baby. People give you cash,
Yeah.
and then you have to think about, oh, I got all this cash from these different people. You write down their names so you
Yeah,
don't forget.
yeah.
And then you buy them gifts, and you have it's
so that cash is gone basically because I have to like buy everything back.
So I start to tell them to not to give me back. No お返し。
that doesn't work because
It
if you
doesn't
tell
work.
them,
Yeah.
if you insist firmly, do not give me anything back, they will then think, oh, he really wants me to give him something back, and then you know what I mean.
Just
Yeah.
on and on.
On and on.
I have house parties at my home all the time these days because of Corona. And I'll tell everybody, especially since a lot of my guests are women and I'm cooking and cleaning and doing everything while they're the guests. And I tell them, just enjoy yourselves. Don't worry. I will take care of everything. They take 30 or 40 minutes before they can get used to that. You know what I mean? They're just like, is it really okay? I'm like, I'm not Japanese. I'm not lying. Sit down, drink, and have fun.
Yeah.
Natsuki had no problem. Natsuki's like, okay, whatever. Just drinking and having fun. She didn't give a crap.
You do that at your own house, right? Like you just drink. You do it.
Yeah, like she invites me over to her house. We clean her house for her. She doesn't do shit.
I you know what? I do clean for other people, not for you guys.
Oh, now I feel bad. Now you're saying something.
Okay.
You're saying like you're beating around the bush. You don't want us to come to your house.
No. Please come to my house, but I'm not gonna clean.
Yeah, it's getting back to what Hayate was saying though, like returning the favor. Yeah, that's so. And then
Yeah.
when do you stop? When is it returned? You know.
Yeah, a lot of those things. It's just like I guess. Okay, my mom is like that. You know, she's deeply. She returns favors or whatever. She's just worried about what other people like think about. Oh, not returning the gift. Oh my God, what do you? And always tells me things like, hey, why aren't you doing all this stuff? And I'm like, I don't know. They don't really care. But
Yeah.
it's just in it, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. But my dad's opposite. He doesn't give a fuck.
I love your dad.
He don't give a fuck.
I start worry about myself because I got some gifts from, for my baby when I got hurt. And then some people said, you don't have to give me back anything. And I really
Now she's stressed about it. She's
didn't.
thinking,
Yeah. I start worry about myself.
I wouldn't worry about it. They're just like,
Yeah.
oh, that's just Natsuki.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you.
Yeah, no, I mean, there are so many examples of this, like, where, okay, so I found a wallet. This is like 3 years ago. I found a wallet here in the downtown area, and it was full of cash. And it was during Bonenkai season. So this guy probably went out, got drunk, and then lost his wallet. Right?
Okay.
So I take the wallet to the police. I give it to the police, and they're like, "Can we have your phone number in case he wants to give you a present for
Yeah.
finding his wallet?" And I was like, "No, don't worry about it." But because this face, the police officers know who I am.
Okay.
And they know where my work is. So I gave him the wallet and everything, but this guy was so insistent. He came to my place of business with like an envelope with money in it to give to me. And I was like, I don't need your money, dude. I'm just happy you got your wallet back. I don't need it. It's cool. But he's like, no. Because like he did not feel good until he gave me that money. He had to give me that money or he wasn't going to feel. His wa was unbalanced. Do you know what I mean? And so he felt like he needed to balance it again. And so I said, okay, I'll take your money and buy something for the kids. And that's what I did. I bought children's books or something.
Because it is said that it's like a joshiki. How do you say joshiki? Natural thing? It's
It's
like
a more basic
Law of nature?
moral.
moral. So if you find a wallet and then if you, 10分の1お礼を渡すみたいなさ。
You have to, it's like an unspoken, not a rule, but
Yeah, it's like a unspoken rule.
it's like things you have to.
Says common sense,
Common
common
sense.
sense.
social etiquette.
Social etiquette. So I was told when I was little, if you find a wallet, if you lost a wallet and then somebody took it, no, not took it.
Somebody finds it.
Somebody found it and then you have to give it him back, like 10%.
10%.
10%.
10%.
Yeah.
But to like step back, even you leave things, you drop something, somebody will take it to the police station, right? Not 100%,
Yeah.
but I think that's like harmony as well. It's
Is
just
it?
like,
Yeah.
Actually, no. I'm gonna support what Hayato's saying. I think that in Japan there is a sense of everybody's the same. It's the same culture, same language, same ethnicity, right? So everybody feels a sense of brotherhood
Yeah.
more so than other countries, right? And so when somebody loses their wallet, I think a lot of Japanese people, and this is why there's so little crime in Japan, is you think, oh, this could be me.
Yeah.
I could have lost my wallet, and I would want someone to give it to the police.
Yeah.
Whereas if you're in America, for example, it's really easy to put otherism out there. Like, oh, the person who lost his wallet is an idiot, and they're nothing like me.
Huh.
So there's a lot of little tribes in America where people can feel like they're separate groups from each other. Whereas in Japan, it's all one group.
yeah.
Or one group.
So when you steal from someone, it's like stealing from your friend, your family, your neighbor.
yeah.
I think that's a really good cultural point here.
Yeah. Like one other example, let's say if a disaster happens in America, like a hurricane or something, what would happen to the stores?
Looting.
You get looted, riots happen,
People steal the stuff from the store.
stealing from the stores. But in Japan, let's say like 3/11 happened.
Yeah.
Everybody worked together. There was,
Yeah.
I mean, I'm sure there were crimes, but
But
No,
not even
everybody-
that. And here's the weird thing is Yakuza, some of the top Yakuza in Tokyo sent trucks of food and water
Yeah.
to the
Yeah.
victims.
Yeah, Japanese people like one for all for one.
Yeah.
That's why, when the rugby team got people love, watching the
Japanese rugby team.
Japanese rugby team
What
or
was
soccer
that? I don't
team.
know. 忘れ英語があったよね. What was it? One team?
One heart, one team or something like
Yeah.
that. Yeah, one for all for one.
yeah. So
Yeah.
in that aspect, I think the harmony is a very positive thing. It
Yeah.
works out very well.
Yeah, no, that's true. That's a very good point, Hayato, that when there's natural disasters, a country that you really want to be in if there is a natural disaster is this one because everybody comes together and works hard.
Yeah. So that's a good thing. I mean,
Yeah.
I'm not saying. I mean, some aspects of WOD is just like it's just taking advantage of like politicians
Yeah.
and stuff like that. But
Let's talk about this one. Okay, let's talk about couples. Okay, couples fighting. We were talking about before how you and your couple, you and your husband fight together. But let's say you break up.
Okay.
Then I mean, no, let's not do that because I don't want to jinx you guys. But let's say
Okay.
so I have ex-girlfriends. Okay. Like one of my ex-girlfriend who's Japanese was a really bad girl. She turned out to be a really bad girl. And she did some bad things. And if you even ask her, she'll admit that she did some bad things. And when I would complain about her, this is years ago, when I would complain about her to my friends, I'd be like, that girl was such a bad girl. She did all these bad things. I mean, can you believe it? If this was America, everyone would be like, oh man, that was such a bad girl. You'll find a better girl next. That's the reaction in America. The reaction in Japan was surprisingly different. The more I would say something bad about her, the more other people would defend her
That happened.
and say, yeah, but you picked her. She's your choice.
Yeah.
You picked all of her, including her bad parts. So for you to throw her away, you're the bad guy.
I would say that.
And I was like, what? I was like, I'm clearly the good guy here. Like that exchange was like eye-opening for me. I was just like, what is wrong with you?
Yeah, I would say that. Because everybody has good point and bad point. And, because you're you chose the girl. You had a good relationship with her. And then if she turns, you have to love her everything. Yeah.
I see what you're saying, but then this also goes into a little bit of sexism in the harmonious rules in Japan. Almost always, if there's a relationship problem, the male is the one who takes fault.
Maybe. Yeah.
The girl never usually takes any fault. Even if she was a horrible person, most people blame the man because he is the ueno tachiba. He's the higher position, so he is the responsible one. Right? And that's like, I'm like, what are you talking about? She's a bad girl. Say it. And they're like, no. And I'm like,
Yeah, what happened to opposite thing? Like if you break up, like I would say, yeah, but like it happens to my friend's situation. Like my friend always complaining about her husband, and then other people, of course, support her like he's a bad guy. And also we tell her that, but you picked her and him, and you spoiled him that way. That's why he's doing that thing. So you better shut up and doing.
Now there's some good points to this. Is like I think that in Japan there's always kind of like there's like a way to come back.
Way to come back.
If you're like kind of the bad guy, there's always like, I don't know, there's like a way to fix it, to change it. This also happens in Japanese fiction, right? Can you guys think of any 100% good, 100% bad characters in Japanese fiction?
I can't. Can you?
Anpanman?
He's a 100% good guy.
Okay, so if Anpanman is 100% good, Baikiman, bacteria guy, is that? Yeah, it's a bacteria guy. Even though it's not bacteria, it's usually what infects breads.
Bios guy.
Yeah, but anyway, he's the bad guy. But is he really a bad guy? I've actually never seen Anpanman, by the way.
He is, but I think people kind of think like, oh, there must be something about him that makes him do stuff like that. Like Japanese people kind of goes deep into that. It's just a kid's show.
Yeah, maybe he had a bad influence when he was little, or
we start to think about that. Oh, maybe he's not bad guy at all.
Yeah.
Maybe he's just
Background,
lonely. He just want to hang out with everybody.
Yeah. He's jealous. Baikiman is jealous for Anpanman. He wants to be a friend.
There's no like, oh yeah, he's bad. I mean, kids think, oh, he's bad, but like as an adult, maybe people be like, whoa.
But many kids love
that.
Baikiman.
Yeah, even that goes to like the old folk tales with like the demons, the Oni demons. In the end, when the good guy defeats the bad guy, the bad guys kind of apologize to the good guy. I'm sorry, I will change myself. So there's no like...
There's like harmony at the end.
Yeah, there's like a peace at the end.
Yeah.
It's not like... You're like, oh, I defeat the bad guy. All right, the movie's done. No.
Yeah, that's not
There's
happening.
like the ending.
So, Kimetsu no Yaiba is very, famous, becoming a
what's
thing
the
in
English
Japan.
title of that?
Demon Slayer.
Demon Slayer.
Demon Slayer.
Demon Slayer. It's
Slayer.
so popular right now.
Yeah, and then I'm not really big fan of it because I haven't got a chance to watch it, like many shows. But anyway, so some people said the show is very good because when the main character kills a demon, the demon was a human before. And then, it's kind of like a Walking Dead. Demon bit a human and the human become a demon. So the demon has a human background. Do you understand what I mean?
Yeah, I understand what you're saying.
And then so the demon was not always a bad guy or girl. So
it shows that demon was also a good guy before too.
So and then it shows their like past and then personality, and then the main guy shows him sympathy.
Yeah.
And then that's maybe people like about that show.
Even like a lot of crime dramas series. I know there's a murderer in the scene, and then there's a detective find out who is this. Oh, he's the killer, but there's like a backstory to it. Always. So kind of like, blame him 100%, basically.
Yeah, like I feel like in Japan there's a lot of the quote unquote bad guys in movies and stuff like that, there's like a reason for it, like this is how this guy became this way. Whereas in I think in a lot of American movies and stuff like that, it's like he's a psychopath. That's why he's bad. Like he was just born this way. He was just a bad guy from his very beginning. Not all bad guys are like this, but if you watch, for example, some of the old Superman and like Batman movies, like the bad guys are just always bad guys.
Yeah. Except Joker.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking about.
Except him.
Joker.
I think he had some
background, some shit happened to that guy.
Stuff. But yeah, I know what you mean. There's always like black and white, right?
Yeah, black and white, and then we Japanese love gray.
Can we talk? Speaking of gray, can we talk about some times where harmony in Japan isn't followed? So here I have two examples. One, when there's a election.
Okay.
Okay, so one thing in Japan is to be quiet, okay? Being super loud is not a good thing. And so playing like really loud music out of your cars or, you know, just talking really loudly is generally seen as bad. Even though that's true. When there's an election, how do you guys get information about election people?
From the election car.
Yeah, the election vans. The vans and
election
buses
vans.
with giant loudspeakers on top of them that yell and scream.
That's it.
They only say the candidate's name, basically.
If you are very interested in election, probably you read, you know, newspaper very.
But
you
what
know.
I'm saying is it's so freaking noisy.
Yeah.
And everybody's totally okay with it. And the weirdest thing about it is, and this is going back to preserving the harmony, even though those cars are so loud, all the Japanese people on the street are pretending like they're not there.
Yeah.
Because they're preserving their harmony by not listening to it. They don't want to encourage them, so they're just not listening to it. But it's still there, and they're just like, it's not happening, because they're preserving their harmony. Isn't that weird?
It's something that's like, it's something that's there.
Yeah, we don't even think about that as a harmony.
It's just like the old traditional thing, like incons and stuff. It's been part of it for so long that we don't really think about it. But
we don't really think about it.
I guess if it's in America, somebody's like yelling out in the speakers, they'd probably like get thrown.
What would it happen?
Tomato or egg or something.
It depends on where you're at, but like most of the time, like now these days, we have like protesters and counter protesters where they fight and argue with each other. In Japan, no one does it. In fact, I would say that the least effective method of getting your message out there is to scream it in a speaker. I think all Japanese people just ignore it.
Because maybe many people think those vans are very noisy, and then people probably want them to shut up, but they don't want to be the first one to do it.
And then let's go into another one, uyoku.
Okay, yeah.
Same thing, right? They go to the stations with their big stupid vans, playing their music and screaming. They scream on the microphone.
Yeah, because we are scary.
That's their appeal. But then everybody just ignores them. They're just like, oh, I don't see you. I don't see you. That's the harmonious way to deal with the problem is I don't see you.
Because like I said, I don't want to be the first one to stop it.
It's just amazing. I love it.
Yeah.
We didn't talk about food. How do we have harmony in food? That's an important one too.
Yeah, I think so. I think this is
harmony in food.
After a certain era, the Western stuff come in. We don't say Japanese food. I mean, in America or some other countries, we say Japanese food.
Yeah, you say wa food.
We say wa food. We don't say Japanese Nihon chok. We say wa food. Everything. Wa clothing, everything. We kind of drew the line. There's a yofuku and wafuku, which is Western clothing and
harmonious clothing.
Yeah, but that's not the meaning. Harmony. That word is not harmony meaning.
Originally, it means Japan. Originally, like long time
But it
ago.
still means the same thing because we're talking about the harmonious land, the culture here, right? The people. Yeah.
So yeah, everything, food.
Okay, so let's talk about Japanese food. You go to maybe America. You get a pasta dish. You just get a bowl. It's pasta. It's one thing. You eat it. You're done. But in Japan, you get food. It's got several different types of food in balance with each other.
Yeah. We say ichijiru. なんだっけ? Do you know what that means, Josh? 一汁三食? One soup and two side dishes and one rice. No? Okay.
No, but it made sense what you just said. You get one soup, two side dishes, and then rice.
Yeah. 一汁三菜.
Yeah. It's
一汁三菜だ. Sorry. 一汁三菜.
I feel like the traditional wa food, like the Japanese food, it's to bring out the flavor of the ingredient itself, like the vegetables or mushrooms, to bring in less sort of like spices or I mean, salt.
Because Japan
but-
didn't have that many spices to begin with, right?
Yeah.
So the major ingredients are you got
Sato.
you got sugar, you've got soy
Salt.
sauce, you've got vinegar, you've got alcohol, salt,
Miso.
and miso. And
Yeah.
so everything revolves around that. And then what Hayate was saying, and I totally agree with this, like if you have natural ingredients in your food, Japanese food tends to keep them as close to their natural self. You know, where like Western foods, we process everything and bake it and everything. Whereas Japanese foods are usually very close to as you find them in nature.
Yeah, like dashi.
Dashi.
We take dashi from, fish or vegetables. So I think in that sense, it's just wa itself. It means like to be one with nature. That kind of thinking. So I think that's where harmony just kind of
Harmony. So we,
came,
I didn't even think about we like harmony, but I guess we are. And then we want to be circle with everybody. We want to be same as everybody. Do you understand what I mean?
Is this like the Lion King, the circle of
Yeah,
life?
circle of life. That's right. Yeah. Yeah, because the reason why we are why are we keeping wa? Maybe because we live in the island.
Yeah.
And then, you know,
You have to balance.
we
can't-
have to balance
Yeah.
because we cannot escape from each other because we are living in the, small country.
Also,
Yeah.
there's a lot of like Wa teachings in Shinto and in Buddhism.
Yeah.
And so, like, I think, and also in Taoism, there is as well. And so you bring all those things together into, like you said, a limited resource island country.
Yeah.
And I think that's where we get it. Yeah.
And then also so basic, like originally we're agricultural people. Mm-hmm. And then we, 米を作る. How do you say that?
You make rice.
We make
We
rice.
make rice.
Everything we do together.
Yeah,
as a
everything we do
village.
together.
So in that village, we have carpenters, we have everything. So everybody's kind of working together as a village in a group. So,
Also, rice is a very not easy to cultivate grain. It's hard to do. And so you require a lot of, you need very, very good timing. And you need to know a lot about math. And so rice is one of the more difficult grains to grow compared to others.
Really?
Yeah,
I didn't know that.
potatoes and like wheat and stuff like that, corn, that's easier to grow by humans than rice is.
So we need people cooperative each other.
Cooperating with each other.
Cooperating it with each other.
yeah.
That's
This is one, I don't know if it's the same thing, but this is one example I found is that, so we have the Japanese bees. We have a Western bees.
蜂ね.
Hachine bees. So in Japan, we have Japanese bees. When the Western, we have like two different kinds of bees. When the Western bees come, they will work together and like they would suck the pollen like together in a team. But in a Western place, if the Japanese bees goes to Western bees territory, the Western bees would totally destroy the Japanese bees. So I think this is because of the natural thing, nature thing, the harmony in nature. In Western, some places are really harsh. It's very cold. They need to survive. These bees need to survive. So they're very like, they need to survive. But in Japan, it's like naturally, it's just like, it's just nature.
Yeah.
So that kind of brought up the whole harmony.
There's also no apex predators in Japan. There's no like lions and there's no tigers. Like these things that you really have to be careful about.
Yeah.
So, God, lions and tigers are from other countries.
Right, so
we
the-
see them in zoo, but
Zoo.
they are not originally from Japan.
The scariest thing that you have in Japan are bears, and that's up in Hokkaido in that region, which wasn't even considered it wasn't even Japan, But here, everything from like, Fukushima South is, the scariest thing you'll find is like maybe a boar or a monkey, which isn't that scary. But if you go to Africa, that's, it's a different game.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
So
Scary.
I think I think that if you're going to find a peaceful place for harmony, this is a better place than Africa back in the day.
Definitely. But I think it's a similar thinking with the indigenous people about like being one with the nature and respect nature, respect others. I think Native Americans, they probably had the same thinking.
Pocahontas.
Yeah, you know, Mayans or Amazon, like indigenous people thinking.
Yeah.
We still kind of have that sort of thinking. It's not really like what it used to be, probably, but
I think it's getting back there, especially environmentally. I think Japan is getting better.
yeah.
I mean, during the last 100 years, Japan destroyed and caused a lot of problems for their country, you know, because of the wars and everything and rapid development. But I think now we've learned, okay, concrete, everything is not a good idea.
Yeah.
And we need to balance with nature. So.
Yeah.
But anyway, all right, guys. Hey, cool. Nice conversation about one little thing.
Yeah.
I never even thought about the bee example.
Yeah, apparently.
Although the murder hornets do come from Japan.
Yeah. Oh, the big
What do you call those in Japanese?
suzumebachi.
Suzumebachi. They're like, man, those are soldiers, man.
They're in America now, huh?
Yeah, they got there. So everything happened this year, 2020, guys. Woohoo.
Scary.
All right.
But yeah, but what is like something we can kind of, it's kind of hard to explain.
Yeah,
with
we've been
words.
told from like childhood, like if
Yeah.
you go to school, like, you know, cooperation
Cooperate, yeah.
is not the most, but very important thing in our society. So even the, you know, tsuchiyo, score sheet,
Like a report card.
a report card, you know, cooperative is our like value. Do you understand what I mean?
Yeah.
So they give me like 1 to 5.
score.
The score.
Yeah, I always tell people like one of the big differences between America and Japan is that America has way more rich people and has a lot of really super rich people. But America also has a lot of poor people too. Whereas Japan may have less really super rich people, but they have a lot less super poor people. So it looks more balanced, right? Whereas in America's extremes.
Yeah.
Anyway, guys, that's been our show. I enjoyed today's show talking about wa. It's
Harmony.
Yeah, it is something that took me a long time to, and even now I don't perfectly understand it, but I get it more than I did before.
Yeah, it's deep.
Yeah.
If you guys have anything that you want to comment about Japanese wa, or maybe a question, you can comment below. That's been our show this week today. Thank you guys for watching. See you guys next week.
Bye.
Hey everyone, Josh here. Thanks for watching this week's episode of Small Talk Japan. Small Talk Japan was filmed and recorded in Kagoshima at Story Studios. This week's episode stars Michi, Natsuki, and Hayato, and is produced by me, Josh, and is executive produced by Michi. Hair services provided by Drops Hair Tenmonkan. This week's episode is sponsored by Stapleton A. Kaiwa. Leave a comment below and let us know what you think of the show. Thanks again for watching, and if you enjoyed the show, click here to subscribe and click here to watch more. See you next time!